What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So guys, channel membership is now live. Link is in the description and the first comment. Do check it out. That would really help support the channel. So let's start this video with this guy who on IG is known as Ejike The Great. Apologies if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. So this guy is from Philippines and he's a maths teacher. Now up until yesterday, the guy did not have the posing routine from the Indie Pro on his Instagram. But he had those strange kind of pictures on his IG. Those crazy and absolutely insane shots from Indie Pro stage. And his proportions just looked so damn unreal that I personally thought he was photoshopped because he was looking so cartoonish that it kind of seemed like that the pictures are being edited. Now it turns out that wasn't the case. And when you see him in those classic physique comparisons, you are quite surprised on why he did not win that show. Because just standing there, he looked the most impressive guy in the lineup. Now, I would go as far as saying this. From the front, he is one of the most impressive physiques that we have ever seen in that entire classic physique history. So the question that must be in everybody's mind, why he did not win that show? Well, the reason that is his back. The back double biceps is simply not as impressive, not even close to his front. The thing is, he lacks the density, he lacks the thickness, and on top of all that, he lacks the width in those back shots. Now very big delts, which are kind of reminiscent of the great Paul Dillette, who also was one of the most impressive bodybuilder from the front. But we all know he never had a great back. Plus one more thing that I noticed is that Ejike wasn't opening up, especially in the front double biceps. I'm gonna say properly, or as much as he can. And in my opinion, he desperately needs a posing coach. But those quads, the waistline, the vacuum, the muscle bellies, they are so goddamn insane, so impressive. Just when we think we have seen some of the greatest talent, especially in classic physique, here comes a whole new guy, just out of the woodworks, and just blows away everyone's mind. So let me know what you guys think. How do you guys rate this genetic freak that we are looking at right now? So this most recent physique update from Good Vito, that is quite an accurate indication on how wide this guy is and how much space he's gonna take at this year's Mr. Olympia stage, which by the way is gonna be his Olympia debut. And that we have seen can be a very big factor, which is gonna play a massive role in his placings and in his favor at this show in October. Since the Olympia in the Men's Open, that has always been a big boy show, and size does matter at the biggest bodybuilding stage in the world. Now we are so anticipated to see Good Vito hitting that front double biceps against all the guys or some of the guys who are gonna be in that first call out at this year's Mr. Olympia. Because that right there is undoubtedly among the most impressive front double biceps in the entire Men's Open. I'm gonna say not just right now but in the history of the sport. So the question in regards to Good Vito is that, will he be good enough, especially in those side shots, plus the back shots too, especially in the back double biceps, so that the judges find him worthy to compare him in that top 10 or somewhere higher than that. And we have to keep in mind he's also lacking the detail in his chest and the shoulders, which in turn makes his most muscular shot not the most impressive one, especially amongst guys like Hadi Chopin, Nick Walker, Martin and all those other top Olympians. But the fact is, it's just the same as Derek Lunsford. But this guy is still so young and he has got so much time on his hand to make all the necessary improvements and be totally undeniable in the upcoming years. So him missing out on this year's mighty Pittsburgh Pro, that was a massive setback because we saw how Martin Fitzwater he came in off. And I do believe that Good Vito, he could have given William Bonac and Martin a run for their money. Nevertheless, a more complete version of Good Vito that is now loading. And out of all the guys on this year's Mr. Olympia stage who are gonna be there for the very first time or who are gonna be making their debuts, the only one who can place better than Good Vito is possibly Behrouz Tabani. But do let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have an update from Antoine Want. So is he retired from competitive bodybuilding scene? Well, not officially, but it won't be a surprise for anyone at this point if that Arnold 2024 that turns out to be his last bodybuilding show of his pro career. And I think Antoine is gonna be at peace with that decision since he literally brought his career's best at the Arnold Ohio last year. While technically speaking, Arnold UK was the last show, that he did back in 2024, but he kind of missed out on that peak for that Arnold UK show. But that Arnold Ohio look that year, that was as good as Antoine could be at his age. Now the biggest mistake that he committed last year was not competing in some of the later shows that year. I do think he would have had a very solid chance at getting another pro win and securing another Olympia spot. And that was gonna be for the third time in his career. Now, if you guys have followed Antoine in the last couple of years, then you must know that his current weight, that is a bit lighter for him, since he was hitting 300 pounds when he was truly bodybuilding 24/7. And the biggest change that we can see in his physique, which happens to everyone as all of these guys age, is the waistline getting wider. But that being said, as he just mentioned, that this is just the start of his cut. So let's see what the end results bring out. So Regan Grimes must have agreed with Lehaney's stance on how to properly hit the front relaxed pose. He's hitting in that old-fashioned way, and at the end of the day, any bodybuilder should present in the best possible way that he can think of in terms of his own physique, which he thinks is gonna enhance his aesthetics and his overall flow. Now there wasn't a long rest period for Regan Grimes after this 2025 season, where he did a total of 3 shows, winning California Pro, but losing to Sazan Hirati at Toronto Pro Show. Now he knows he needs to bring up his quads from the front in order to have a shot at that Olympia top 6 placing. So he's gonna use this rebound phase as much as he possibly can. Try to put on some clean size before he has to start dieting down for this year's Mr. Olympia. Now this look on Regan, that is pretty impressive in a sense, that he has good amount of fullness, even in those weak areas of his, like the chest, which has always been a very weak point, because that kind of flattens out when he hits the front double biceps. But that being said, the structure right there, that is beyond impressive. Just imagine Regan adds more mass, more thickness to his outer quad sweep. He's gonna become so deadly on the stage. And I certainly think if he can do that, he can realistically expect to place somewhere in that top 6 to top 8 spots at this year's Olympia stage, because his back shots, they are some of the best in the Pro League right now. So this year's Olympia prep, that is gonna happen with a new coach for Regan Grimes. And the new coach is Dom Supersliced, the same guy who worked with Nick Walker during that one-off season, like 3 years back. So Regan was top 9 at the Olympia back in 2023. How high do you guys think he can place at this year's Mr. Olympia? Can he beat the likes of William Bonac, Antonio Burton? Next up, we have an update from the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding, Andrew Jacked. So when the abs are so well developed that they are visible over the vest, that's a different level. And everybody admits that Andrew has some shots, like the front double biceps, the front lat spread, and the abs and thigh, which are Mr. Olympia worthy. No one can beat him in those shots. Now a whole lot of focus and attention that is going towards bringing up the back, which has most definitely improved since he first came onto the scene, especially his upper half. The hamstrings definitely need more work. They definitely need to come up, specifically in comparison to someone like Samson Dauda, because these guys are of the similar heights. And the one thing that separates Andrew and Samson, that is the massive difference in the hamstrings and the adductors. And that needs to happen if he wants to have a shot at those top 3 spots at this year's Olympia stage. So this is Andrew's 3rd year working with Chris Aceto, and they have presented some amazing packages at different points in time. Even the Arnold Ohio this year, Andrew was pretty damn impressive, but Andrew has never looked even close to being 100% on Mr. Olympia stage, especially the way he shows up at Texas Pro. So will Andrew finally break the curse and bring his A game to this year's Olympia stage in less than 15 weeks time? Well, if this guy is at 100%, I do think everyone is in trouble. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.